Okay, we back, y'all. Mess around and find out. Team No Sleep is back in the building. Let's make sure that we live everywhere because it's been a little bit. I forgot how to push some of these buttons.
There you go. There you go.
Nah, but listen, what is it? End of August already. Kids are going back to school. Y'all don't worry
Yep.
about me, James Hicks. That guy right there, that's Montel Allen. How you living, brother?
Man, blessed. Cannot complain, brother. Blessed. My worst day is a blessed day, so can't much more be said than that.
That's going on the next T-shirt. That's going on. That's going on the next. Listen, man, we gonna get into it. I see folks that are chiming in. You see us here at the new same bat channel, different bat time because we start now at 6 p.m. Pacific because we got those East Coast folks that like to go to sleep early. So appreciate y'all for joining. Appreciate y'all for joining. Are we cheating? Oh no. See, Dan, don't start nothing. I saw your comment earlier. Listen, I'm a multifaceted brand advocate. So I work with a handful of companies. So don't be put my name out there in the streets like that. See how you already start? See,
Hey, but it's kind of hard. You got the shirt on and your name.
No, I got it on purpose, right? Because when I chop this session up, I'm gonna use Choppity. I get on left and right. I'm gonna use this platform for the micro content. So hopefully it come out pretty dope. That's all right. Dan said we got to find time to meet up. See that Dan want to be friends. Dan want to come and hang out at the crib.
Oh man, we got to meet up sometime in San Diego. Definitely,
he want to come hang out and jump in the pool or something. I'm not sure what's going on, but listen, man, let's go and lock in. We haven't talked since the end of the Olympics, but now we got the Paralympics. The Olympics ended up where they did. Are you watching the Paralympics? Let me ask you that question right there because this is why aren't you watching?
I've just been busy. There's nothing against the sport. Just haven't had time. But you already said my schedule being on TV, doing all the things I got to do. I haven't had time to be able to enjoy or partake in watching it. So that's my fault.
I feel bad too. So don't beat yourself up. I got one finger pointed at you and three pointed back at me. Why have I not even, I want to watch the Paralympics because I want to give them the support as well. And folks in the comments, are you watching the Paralympics? And do you obviously we feel the same level of support for country and for sport and competition and all that. But I haven't consciously blocked time out and said, I'm going to check these guys out and watch what they're doing. But I'll watch some replay. I'll watch some replays, man.
Yeah.
See, look at Marvin. Don't even know where it is. That's just a shame, right? It's not all over the NBC airwaves. Like we don't have Mike Tirico over there in Paris broadcasting. It's like on ESPN Ocho, right? It's on one of them third class channels. Okay, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. All right, so that was the Olympics. We're not watching that again. Give me a minute, y'all. It's been a minute since I've been online. You see all this gray hair. I've been traveling. I've been all over the place. Montel been on TV. He been on Fox Sports, all over the place. But we do have some stories, and we like to talk and start with social impact types of stories. So let's get into this one right here, man. Austin Peay, Peay. Hopefully I'm saying his name right.
No, that's the university. Austin Peay University. That's the university.
Okay. Austin Peay, assistant coach, ex-Michigan outside linebacker, Mr. Patrick.
Old lineman. You tearing it all up.
We're going to stop the show right now. God, no. Yeah. I'm gonna make a blooper reel. Choppity, I'm making it. I'm gonna stop talking. You go, brother. You go. Tell the story because this is unfortunate story. And again, I can't get out of my own way right here. You tell the story. God.
Austin Peay assistant coach, ex-Michigan O-line Patrick Klugler, I believe, resigned after an arrest for human trafficking charges. Sad.
I want to know. Okay, sad. Now so I'm back. How come he gets to just resign, and how come he's not in jail?
I think charges are probably coming. I think allegations are there right now, and he's been charged. So, resign is another word for being fired. You know what I'm saying? They just put the fired on there. I hate when they do that though. They should have just said he was released or he was fired, based on these charges that were brought up against him. Now he's gonna have to face criminal prosecution, especially if he's guilty of it. But this is, man, it's crazy because a person like him has traveled so many places, right? He's been playing for Michigan. He's a coach. So coaches travel, right? They go out recruit. They do different states. They do different areas. They do all these different things. And the fact that he's been predatory in those instances is scary and sad, in my opinion.
I mean, the man comes from somewhat. I don't know if I even want to assume it's a privilege, but the man comes from playing football right at a decent level. He's been coach, assistant coach. He's been coordinator. So again, it's not like he's doing this for the money, but the allegations and the charges are again being involved in a human trafficking for sexual servitude. That was the felony count, and it's with minors.
Yeah,
That right there is a problem right there again. As a parent, as a father, as a parent of daughters, you and I, right? So we think about that right there. Why does someone get involved in something like that again when it's more of a mental conversation? I guess it's more of a psychological kind of conversation. But again, it can't be for the financial piece because again,
well,
you got
I
this
mean,
great job, you got this great lineage of
he's got to
your dad played for a lot of places as well and coached for a lot of places. I mean, you got some dollars in the bank, assumedly.
assume that he has dollars in the bank, and that he's come from, like you said, a pretty good family. But I mean, again, easy. I mean, probably in this situation, either easy money or not. You got to remember, and I'm not. They didn't kind of say how it was operating, or the sting, or the operation was going. But this is so he paid maybe some underage girls to sleep with recruits, or sleep with himself, or to do sexual favors with somebody else,
That's it.
paying these
Okay,
young girls to do it, something like
that's
that.
a different twist that you put right there. So
Yeah,
maybe it
because
wasn't
they're saying
necessarily
it's
him. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Trafficking is mean you're transporting young ladies, or or young people to do
Mm-hmm.
sexual favors for people, and you're placing them in situations where they're getting paid to do sexual favors. I don't know. They didn't really go into much detail. Just said he was charged with it. So my assumption is, football is very demanding, so he's around it a lot. I'm wondering, did he pay young people to sleep with recruits, or sleep with the coaching staff, or sleep with himself, and take them places to do the same thing? You have these big recruit parties that you have for all the incoming recruits. Did you have young ladies there that was performing sexual acts on, the potential players? I don't know all the specifics. I'm speculating right now, so please, don't quote me on anything. But this is sad, just because the predatory nature, and he's
Yeah.
around young people all the time,
Yeah.
right? Him being a coach, he's around 17, 18, 19-year-olds that are on the campus, and when he's recruiting 14, 15, 16-year-olds when he goes visit them at schools and stuff like that to recruit them to play at Austin Peay and other universities. Um, Scary, very scary.
I mean, to
And to
be
find in this
in
world.
that role model type of role, and again have so much influence, especially on the young men that are looking to come play at the university and play on the team and things of that. Uh, that you're right. I mean, coaches, preachers, teachers have so much influence over youngsters just because of the aura of what they do, and
Mhm.
kids look up to them and want to be like them and want to please. And for someone like that to be in that type of position and to even be part of that, I don't know. I mean, and it's he worked at Michigan, so he worked under
Yeah,
Harbaugh, right? So he's got some lineage of being around some quality teams. I'm not saying Austin Peay is not I don't know the university, but
yeah,
again, being around Michigan, if he was doing it there as well, it's not like they don't have again checks and balances and resources. I just can't wrap my head around why grown man would want to be involved in this type of foolishness. Any,
yeah,
not just a grown man, but anybody want to be involved in some of this foolishness. So
yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't understand it, and I'm more leery about, like, his position of where he was, the position that he had, and how he's around so many young folks.
Yeah.
Like, he's around a lot of young folks. I'm talking about cheerleaders, coaches. He's going to all these high school games as he's recruiting. Uh, People in the local town, right? That goes there. Anyone that's been to a small town college, it's unfortunate that you know young men that are going to college are very much around in the same circle as young ladies that are still in high school,
Mhm.
or young men that are still in high school.
Yeah.
So that dynamic is always there, especially in small towns. I don't know how big Austin Peay where it's at, anything like that, but small towns. He was in Michigan. Ann Arbor's a pretty big city, so I don't know. But he's around a lot of young people all the time.
Yeah.
So not only is he influencing players, I'm assuming since he's doing human trafficking, he's probably trying to influence young ladies to do sexual favors or do certain things around. So it's scary, and I don't know if it's one person that this is with, or he did it with several. We don't. It doesn't really state that in the story. It's just kind of scary that someone with that influence is around that many young people doing these types of things.
Yeah. It's interesting, and again, we can speculate all we want to, but it's interesting here. Marvin keeps talking about he may have owed somebody some money and found a way to pay it back, right? So again, we're just speculating. We're going to continue to watch this story, but my goodness.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and me personally, like, if he does have those charges, is he in jail? Or
That's
is he
what
out
I'm
on
saying.
bond?
But listen,
Did he get a chance to get out on bond? I mean, like, there's so many whole. I mean, the story's not complete, right? We don't know everything, but I'm just saying, someone that has trafficking charges against him, human trafficking charges, in this position that he's in, where he's around a lot of kids or young people, don't you think they should be in jail, or they should be house arrest or something? Like, they don't give us any of that kind of information. So I'm curious. I'm wondering. You just charged him and he got released, and then he's going on about his business, or what's going on?
I would be curious, and I don't mean to put your family out there, but I would be curious because again, your son is a coach and very influential with his recruits, his athletes, folks around the program. I mean, if he knows about this story, what's his mindset? Does that make a coach? I mean, even if we ask someone like Hardy Nickerson, like we talked about earlier, right, being in his position, does that make you change? Even if you're not doing anything inappropriate, but does that after hearing this story, does that make you sit up a little bit straighter, or just make sure you crossing T's and dotting I's? I don't
think
know.
I think, at least from my son and friends I know in the coaching world, they're leery of the issues. They're really leery of those types of situations. They're getting themselves caught up in those situations. Obviously, like I said, depending on where you're at, what school you're at, and where you're recruiting, blurred version can happen very easily. And I can give you an example how this could happen. Let's say that you're a new coach in that town. You're going to throw a big party for the recruits. So you're inviting all the young people around campus, as well as people in the community. Some 16, 17-year-olds, you can't tell, right? You can't tell what age they are. They're just in the party, having a good time like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say a guy that you're recruiting is also 17 or 18, coming in, meets a young lady, and they exchange and they have relations or whatever. There's how some of it happens from that point on, just hosting parties and not knowing who's there, who's accountable for. You just got to really be leery. His trafficking, I mean, the term trafficking means you were taking young ladies somewhere from one area to another area and having them do something. So I don't know if he, and I'll be honest with you, and I'll play devil's advocate. He might have been doing that with these young ladies and having them out there, but he might have not have known their age. I'm being honest. He might not have known their age. He might have not known they're underage. Like, he might say, "Hey, you guys come out to here. This party is going to be a bunch of guys there. Blah blah blah. Come hang out." They could be 16 or 17 years old, and we can't say it doesn't happen, because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
When we see young ladies, mess with older men, especially in professional players and stuff like that, willingly and hopefully never unwillingly. This is it's murky. I'm just concerned because of his position. Like, he has, like I said, he's around kids all the time. He's around young adults, teens all the time. So with that being said, and you have those type of charges, whether you did it or not, you need to be removed from the situation completely until you're exonerated.
Completely agree. I love the dialogue in the comments as well. We see you, Mr. Hunt, back in the building. Appreciate you, brother, for being here. Dan got a good one here. He says, listen, let's stop making excuses for these people and assume they were forced into it. Sometimes it's bad people that have opportunities to be bad. And again, I mean, there's the two sides to the coin. We can sit here and play devil's advocate and Monday morning quarterback or whatever the case may be, but this just could be, Kugler could just be a bad dude. Could just be a bad dude. Man, Dr. Stark is in the building. You working? See, Marvin ain't working. He's supposed to be teaching people how to fix them planes over there at his. I'm not gonna give
I,
his
I mean,
employer out, but
I hear both of them, and I do agree. Sometimes bad people do bad things, but sometimes good people get caught up in bad situations. And I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon and say the dude is all the way guilty or something just yet until we figure out. The story doesn't give a complete scenario of what happened. It just says he was charged with it. He's been released. He quit and these charges. I don't know. We don't know the whole circumstances, and I can tell you right now, just firsthand experience. Since when I was young, I was around in those situations. Wasn't involved, but I was around in those situations. I seen someone get arrested for statutory rape because he didn't know. I seen young girls go out and go to parties and be out there all promiscuous, and they're hella young. They're young.
yeah,
They're young. So I really don't understand when it says trafficking. Trafficking means you took them from somewhere and went somewhere to go perform an act. It doesn't state that in the story. So I don't know if it's mislabeled or not, but obviously he was involved with some young people that did some sexual acts. In one way or another, either he was coercing them to sell it or he was doing it himself. With that being said, in this position, he needs to be removed for right now. And then go from there. Let's go with the charges and all that stuff from there. But I don't know if he's a bad person. To be honest, I don't know if he's a bad person or not. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is.
yeah. I was gonna go to the next topic here, but we got a comment that is gonna take us down an interesting fork in the road, and it's interesting to have this. We got to have this conversation because again, we're not gonna shy away from it. So I'm gonna put this up. So Dan, you stoking the fire here, brother. Dan says yes, but why is it white people are assumed to fall into bad situations, and minorities are assumed to be bad?
That's a perception.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. That's always a
Go ahead
perception,
into
and
that because I want to hear about
media
it.
perception.
Yeah.
That's a media perception. That when they do that, when they, I mean, it goes back from ancient times and just from what we've been learning all of our lives. White cake is angel food cake. Black cake is devil's food cake. Everything bad happens in the night. All the good stuff happens in the daytime. The black cowboy is bad. The white cowboy is good. That just transcended all the way when we go into the media as well. Media sees a white person that commits the same crime, and like you said, he's relieved of his duties, or he resigns. Where you see a black person that did the same exact thing, he was fired. And an example was this. A great example was this: is the Michigan State coach that got fired when he improperly exposed himself to a teacher for a sexual thing. He was fired.
Right.
There wasn't like he resigned or whatnot like this. And then this gentleman is involved in some type of sexual allegations, and he happened to resign. So that's a perception thing that the media like to pushes out there. That pushes out there to the mass medias. And, it sucks. It sucks for people like me and James that are skin color, because the perception is of us that, it's like, oh, I knew it, because people believe so much what they see on TV and not read into the story. And I think that's exactly why we have this show.
Yes.
Because we peel back the onion and go a few layers deep to have a better understanding of what's going on. And because he's black or white, I really don't care. I'm talking about the situation, him being a coach and him being a young coach. And I know he's around a lot of young people. And these charges right here are very, very powerful for someone that's like in this situation. But I don't know the whole story. Like I said, things can be misconstrued or miscontained. Right now, I'm considering him guilty before he's charged because he's around it. So he needs to be away. Yeah, exactly. Jerry Sandusky. He's around it or not. So he needs to be removed until this stuff is either cleared up or he's charged. Period. When I mean charged, he needs to be in jail.
That's it. I mean, again, I was surprised that he was able to resign. I was surprised that there was no one with a camera putting this guy on some type of social media platform as he's getting arrested. I was just surprised when I read that where's the rest of the story piece right there?
Well, so why is it not front stage? Why is it not front on ESPN? That should be the first thing on ESPN. Football coach at the Division I level has been charged with, human sexual trafficking. That should have been the first thing, and then they should have been an in-depth story, not a story that's buried somewhere on their website where it's a mention where you probably won't see it unless you're looking for it. So again, perception, because we can tell you again, the Michigan State coach who had sexual allegations or relations with an adult in this thing was blasted all over everywhere.
Yes, sir.
He was front page news for a while. So it sucks, the media perception. Dan, so I agree with you on that 100%.
Well, we just gonna keep breaking it down, y'all. So Dan, appreciate you for bringing that question to us, and we're not gonna shy away from it because that is just like Montel was saying. The reason behind talking about the social impact of sport is not always fun. It's not always pretty. I was trying to watch the Caitlin beat the Connecticut Sun, and I see that they just did that, but we don't talk about that all the time. We don't talk about Bronny and LeBron, and the big story that's on ESPN right now. What is LeBron gonna call Bronny? They're wasting a lot of airwaves talking about that instead of a story like this that has implications on families, on society, on youth, things like that. And not okay. Let me get off the high horse. Let's move on. Let's get focused. Maybe he became an informant. See, Mr. Hunt over there with the conspiracy theory. I love it, brother. Keep going.
Yeah. No. I mean, again, we just don't know.
Hey, so we just upset somebody because somebody just gave us a thumbs down. See, I see it. We see everything, folks. But someone didn't like what we was talking about. But that's all good. That's all good.
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, we welcome haters and likers alike. I mean, if you don't want to talk about a story like this, then this isn't the right show for you. This is like we talk about the most uncomfortable things on there. If you want to just hear sports and that, turn on the ESPN by all means. But if you want to dig, cut back the layers a little bit, this is the perfect show to ask the question that you want to ask and for us to answer it and be as honest as we possibly can. Like I said, I think that guy, we don't know. But until we do know, you need to be removed, period. And not resign. You need to be arrested and removed until we figure out what's going on and then go through the proper channels like that, because a person of color would have to go through those channels. If a person of color, if that was a black coach, I would have no doubt at Austin Peay that he would have been arrested, arraigned, fired, and then has to prove himself. Did he do it or did not do it? Instead of this guy getting ready to resign and probably sitting at home waiting to see what charges they have on him or what's going to happen next.
There you go. All right. Let's move on before we get someone else that dislikes that dislikes the stream.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so I don't know where I want to go. We got more football stories, and they get deeper in severity as we go on, and I kind of want to be cognizant. I want to be respectful of. All right, so let's go this route right here, because starting to see this too many times, man. Starting to see this too many times. We are losing our youth. We are losing people out there doing what they love to do. This guy, Alabama teen, dies after a head injury just during a game, doing what he loved to do, wanted to do. There's been a couple of other stories that have happened as well, just in practice. We all know about the big, the Damar Hamlin story, where of course he survived and he made it. But again, football is a contact sport, and it's not just football. So I think I want to backtrack a little bit on this, but I want to give homage to this particular young gentleman, because again, it was a headline news. When you see something like this, Montel, because again, you are on Fox and CB, you are on TV talking about the up and coming athletes as they position for D1, D2, D3 athletics and things of that nature. How do you talk to the youth about protecting themselves? Not that this guy, this guy didn't. Caden Tellier didn't do what he needed to do to protect himself while he was out there playing. But again, how do you keep that awareness front and center?
It's. I mean, I don't know. From what I read, it wasn't a dirty hit. It wasn't anything. He just got hit wrong, and he had some brain trauma, and then he unfortunately passed away. And shout out to his family. Our condolences. Our condolences to his family, his friends, his high school, and everyone in between. It's just an unfortunate story. I think the way we just preach it, as coaches and leaders or people that are involved in the sport, is safety. It's just an unfortunate situation, and it's not football. It's not just a football thing. It can happen anything. It happens in boxing. It happens in MMA. It happens in skateboard. A kid rides a skateboard and falls off and hits the back of his head. These things happen in everything. So I don't think people should shy away from the sport. And I hate when people say, "Oh, go football. I don't want the kid to play football because it causes head trauma or it's so dangerous." Well, everything's dangerous.
I'm surprised I'm surprised we don't hear about more incidents in soccer. To be honest
Well,
with
I think there's a lot of concussion, but they keep the
you. Yeah.
soccer talk very quiet about concussions because soccer is a very big global sport. Maybe, and it's big amongst the youth in the United States. Very big amongst the youth in the United States, and it's perceived to be safer than football. Especially when it comes to youth, it's perceived to be that. But there's more concussions in soccer than anywhere. There's more broken bones in skateboarding than there is in football, skateboarding and snowboarding.
Mm-hmm.
So all those things combined, if you want to go on those types of things, then start looking at the numbers, those are more impacted. Football is perceived as being such a violent sport, right? Such a violent sport, and it causes all these things. But, and you do have incidents. You have isolated incidents that happen. Unfortunately, he got hit wrong. He got hit wrong where it just caused a situation. And unfortunately, they weren't able to revive him. And there's nothing that no one can do except for pray for his family, right? Pray for them to be able to hopefully understand. But it's not the sport. It's really not, man. I don't think it's a sport at all. I think we're always going to have situations in everything we do where there's some type of danger, and unfortunately, when there's some type of danger, there's possible incidents.
Yeah.
Sad.
I agree. I mean, the family, obviously, and I think rightfully so. And again, maybe we don't know. Maybe there's some other things happening behind the scenes, and we're going to be respectful of that. But the family is not blaming John T. Morgan Academy, not blaming the football program, not blaming the individual that hit their son. It's just, again, they saying their son, as you can read from what I got highlighted here, our son was an exceptional athlete, loved playing football, loved playing baseball, so loved playing all kinds of sports and just doing what he loved to do. It's just, again, one of those, man, unfortunate situations. But as you say, and I know a lot of other all of the sports, including football, they're forwardly thinking and conscious about safety.
Yeah.
It's interesting though what Marvin just said. Helmets are getting lighter, but are they really stronger for impacts? Right, because
So.
we see a lot of those different types of helmets, especially during
Yeah.
practice, and like in baseball, my sport, baseball,
Yeah.
the pitcher can wear that big crazy looking hat that's got plastic material in it to avoid a line drive straight to the dome. But what are your thoughts on some of that?
Yeah. I think they're protective. I think they're tested enough to be protected. I mean, I agree. Technology is trying to improve things to make them lighter, faster, stronger, and so on. I don't think that's the cause of it, because if it is, I mean, there's a million high school kids playing football, and we've only had this incident where it's a head injury
Yeah,
that causes death so far that we know about. So, one out of a million, the numbers speak for itself that it's pretty much safe. I just believe that he just kind of got hit the wrong way, and then something happened, right? Something rattled the wrong way where he wasn't able to recover, unfortunately. Um, but safety is preached in every aspect. I mean, it's just preached every aspect of the game now. Especially, we have to be cognizant of of kids, and at the especially at the high school level, because now they're starting to hit very hard. They're hitting harder at the high school level. Kids are stronger, faster. They're hitting harder, more like adults. So, but the caution is always there. Make sure you wear the right equipment. Make sure equipment is certified. Make sure kids protect themselves. Make sure if you see a guy go helmet to helmet, you warn him, you flag him to kind of get him not to do that anymore, so you can tackle with your shoulder. So there's all kinds of things in place to kind of prevent things like this from happening.
mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it happens every once in a while.
Which is
And
interesting because back in the day, that helmet to helmet hit was allowed, was accepted, was celebrated. And listen, it's not just folklore. Yeah, there were bounties amongst teams, right? If I came at Montel and I got him real good, I'd probably get a couple of cigars or I'd get a couple of drinks from my teammates after. That just was that
if you could
particular
put a
sport.
guy out, like if you could knock a guy out of the game or put him out,
That was the
yeah,
deal.
there's a such thing as bounty, especially it's been documented in the
Yeah.
NFL. There's bounties on players all the time. Um, it is a sport dangerous? Yes. Is there a risk involved? Yes. Is there safety measures in place to minimize those? Absolutely, yes. So it's not the sport. It's just that was just an unfortunate incident.
Yeah.
Just like any other unfortunate incident, like someone driving down the street and they get in a car accident and pass away. It's an unfortunate incident.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, no one meant to do it. It just was an unfortunate incident that happened. And I think sports need to be able to fall into that bucket too. Sometimes there's some things unfortunately happen that aren't meant to happen. and it doesn't have to be under a scrutinized light all the time. Oh, it's so dangerous, we can't do it. I'm not going to allow my kids to play or in X, Y, Z because that one incident happened. I ask always people, okay, so you're not going to let your kids drive a car? Because accidents happen every day. That's dangerous. I mean, at some point we got to kind of, whether, and I'm sure if it was my son, I'd probably be mourning and crying and screaming like everybody else. And I would question, do I think the sport is too violent or not? I would be hypocritical like that. But at some point, I would have to say no. I think I would come to the realization that it's no. That it was just happened to be an unfortunate incident. So,
folks, protect yourself at all time. Protect your loved ones. Montel said it. You're right. We can walk out door tonight, headed to the grocery store, and unfortunately get run over by something or fall ill or whatever the case may be. But
if you see someone do it, it doesn't stop you from doing it, right? Just because you see a car accident on the road doesn't stop you from driving. You keep driving. So, just because an unfortunate incident happens to someone else doesn't mean you have to stop your child from participating in that incident, in that happening, because 99.9% it probably would never happen to that person. It just unfortunately it does. And people like to put a black eye over some of these sports because they have a little bit of violence to it. They have a little bit of aggression, but we never look at the good side of that, though, ever. The good side of that is we're able to participate, we're able to be aggressive. We can take our anger and our situations out in different ways by being on the field instead of taking it out on somebody else. It's a stress reliever all day, every day. When you have a problem, everything you got to do to go out there, run, get physical, get tired, bang into people, do those things. Football brings teamwork. It brings leadership. It brings skills. It teaches you how to work under stress, how to work as a team, and it also teaches you how to overcome failure. It does all these great things, but we want to focus just on the one part. So there's a lot of good, just like there's a lot of good to driving a car. It gets you to point A to point B faster. You're allowed to go further without being tired. It does all these great things, but when there's just one incident, people want to put a bad light under it. I think that's unfair.
Let me ask you this, because you're old school player, coach, and influencer within the not just football. I'm gonna say sports as well. Interesting question that comes right here, because all those attributes that you just mentioned were things that you learned back in the day. I'm putting some years on you, but I'm telling people that you seasoned, you up there. But again, those are things that you learned back in the day. If somebody was out there playing, here's a question from Marvin. If there was a player that pulled up from a play for a safety reason, for a safety concern, or to avoid a serious hit, how would you, if you were that position player's coach, react?
In the moment, I'd be upset.
Okay.
In the moment, I'd be upset. Run through him, make the play. But in hindsight, probably after I watched the film, I'd probably say you probably made the right decision. Right. It's just one of those things. You get caught up in the motion of the game.
Yeah.
You're trying to be physical, make sure the child's physical, do all the things he's supposed to do. But at the point, I probably would probably be mad, yell at him a little bit, try to coach him up as much as I can, and then what? And then after we watched the film and we talked about it, he was like, "Hey, I pulled up because I didn't either want to hurt myself or I didn't want to hurt the person." I would be like, "Okay, I understand now. I have a better understanding of what you did at that point." That's the honest answer.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's subjective, right? Because it's play for play, it's instance for instance. And again, if they come back and say, "Coach, listen, I was trying to make sure nobody got seriously hurt. I was coming in too high, or I was coming in too low, whatever the case may be." So I'm like, "Okay, brother, all right, but do better next time." Okay.
It would have to be. It had to be something that would be after the fact. During the moment, I probably would be upset.
Oh yeah. There you go. Appreciate the question. Appreciate the answer as well. So, sticking with sports and youth, sticking with football, this is happening here in my neck of the woods, and this is something that we've talked about for a lot, because it's not for a lack of want, not for a lack of needs, not for a lack of participation, but down the road for me in Elk Grove right here, entire football season is being canceled.
Yeah.
The district is saying it's lack of participation. But when players and coaches are interviewed, they say, "No, man, that's not what it is."
Yeah,
there's a lot. Elk Grove, there's a lot of money in Elk Grove. Listen,
A lot of money.
there's some old money. You know Elk Grove too, probably, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
some
yeah.
old money in
A
Elk
lot of
Grove,
money.
so it can't be lack of participation.
Well, it's a lack of someone not wanting them to participate, right? Or if they brought this to the school decided to cancel it. Somebody with a lot of influence on the school said, "Hey, we don't get this number, or we don't hit a certain number, they're probably just unrealistic. That hey, we're not going to participate in the sport because I don't know. I think a lot of people have a personal vendetta about football. Me particularly,
Mm,
but just because either because their kid wasn't able to play, or their kid wasn't good enough, or their
yes.
kid got shunned at some point, and or something happened. Maybe football took precedence over a sport that their child played, so now they got a vendetta. Something there's always a personal vendetta against football because whatever reason it may be. This seems like maybe possibly one of them because the coaches are saying we have enough kids to participate, but this county or whatever,
The system,
with the school board,
the
the
school
system is
district,
saying
Elk
no,
Grove Unified
you
School
don't.
District.
So when did the system say that hey, here's the number that you don't have a number to play? Because I remember back when I played, there were some schools that only had 18 kids and they played 18 total, and they would play. Didn't matter. And then we had some schools that had like 84 kids. It looked like and they were playing. So the numbers went varies from school to school, depending on who was there, and then also, winning has a lot to do with it now. Like if you're not winning, a lot of players transfer out. If you're not winning, they transfer
Yeah,
out. They want to go to
true.
different schools. They want to go play somewhere else, and that dwindles your numbers as well. And then you're left with a lot of young people. Now, if they said they're not playing football for safety reasons, like, hey, we don't have enough older people, the guys to play. They're going to be all young. We don't want these guys to play varsity. They're going to end up going up there and getting hurt. Blah blah blah. I would say, okay, I get an understanding of it. If it's a money issue, I'd understand. If it's a participation issue like Crenshaw High School in LA, I understand. But this one doesn't. I don't particularly understand so much. But it's happening a lot more and more across the country than we think. A lot of
Yeah,
schools, a lot of high schools are not participating in football, just like a lot of colleges are dropping football programs. So
right,
it's the
right.
same
And
way.
the the flag that I bring up about this, and you guys, I'll put it in the description, the link to the article. Again, it's the district is saying that it's low participation. He said I got that highlighted, but if you log on to Max Preps, which is the central website that shows
Right.
all the highlight reels for all the players and all that, there's players ready to play and there's coaches ready to coach. But we talk about here a lot is that domino effect. Here's a statement from some of the cheerleaders saying again, so it's not just the players on the football field, it's the cheerleaders, it's the food court staff, it's everyone around that
Oh,
is who is either out of a job, out of a job, doesn't have something to
yeah,
do for that period of time. So it reverberates deeper than just buying pads and buying balls. It
yeah,
reverberates into these other activities that are
yeah.
around that.
Especially when you get to the higher levels, right? The collegiate levels and so on. But at the high school level, you don't have the cheerleading now team not participating. Now you don't have the booster club able to raise money for their sport and other sports that is going around. You're not selling memorabilia. You're not marketing your school because you're not out there participating and playing. So there's a lot of things that are gonna go into play when you're not playing football and when you cancel the season just like they did. It's kind of I'm sure it's disheartening to a lot of kids, a lot of people in that in that school. And then again, when are we about the kids? Like when is it? When do the kids have a say so that they want to participate or not? Based over sometimes the adults making this decision. And
Yeah.
I would love to know what was the guide or what was the parameters about this decision. What was the framework that made this decision actually happen? What was the actual numbers that said they were too low?
Yeah, there's, and I'll let folks read the story if they want to. I mean, they're pointing at instances and saying that it maybe have been to some of some fights that happen at football games, but again, that's an excuse, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I mean, don't let some rowdy folks in the stands affect what's going on the field. Elk Grove's got a healthy police department. I know.
yes,
So they
yeah,
can, like, if they need to bring some more security to these
yeah,
games to make sure that nothing happens. So don't use that as an excuse because
yes. So you
there's
you
some
use some of that
incidents.
snack bar money and that booster club money to hire some
Oh,
extra
see, there you
security,
go. There
if
you
that's the
go.
case. I mean, you got to be. I mean, at some point, I think you know what? A lot of the problems are ads.
Come
Ads
on.
are lazy.
Come on.
Athletic directors are lazy. A
Yeah.
lot of them are lazy. There's a lot of great ones out there, but there's a lot of lazy ones out there. So it's easier to say, hey, let's just cancel the season than to figure out resolutions or solutions to what you think that is either a problem or a perceived problem. They're just lazy. They feel like they don't have to do it. Your job as an AD is to have as many sports as possible and have people participate in it, as much as you possibly can. If you can have 100 teams, you should have 100 teams. And you as an AD have to be able to balance those and make sure everything's A-okay and all right. You can't just drop the ball on one because there may or may not be a problem that you're forecasting that's there. You have to be able to resolve it, or be ahead of it. If you think there's going to be fights in the stands, guess what? I'm going to hire me a couple of people, extra security to be in the stands. And that's just going to lessen our budget a little bit. But guess what? We're going to raise the price of hot dogs a nickel. That should cover it. And make everything make sense. This doesn't make sense to me. And like you said, it affects the cheerleading squad. Cheerleaders are now getting scholarships, and that's the part that just makes me crazy. So you'll cancel boys football, but you'll have now girls flag football. You'll start flag football. So now granted they don't got the fan stay as boys, but you're canceling one program for the other. So how does that make boys feel when you're going to support the women's flag football and not support the men's and vice versa?
It's a bad perception thing again, right? Again, so it's less contentious on the girls' side or on the flag football side than it is for 16, 17, 18-year-old boys to be out there doing almost the exact same thing. I don't know, and
I'm just talking about the support mechanism. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. We will go out there and support the powder puff or the flag, okay, but we won't support the others. There is a right answer, but I don't know what it is. But I don't know if the right people are even in place to make these right answers.
I believe the right answer is the ADs are lazy. I truly believe that they're lazy. They're lazy, and maybe they see something I don't see. But from what I know in this situation, I think they're lazy because they're not willing to find solutions. They're just willing to cut it all off and not deal with the problem. Right? Let's just not even deal with it. Well, unfortunately, the problem involves more than just you. It involves a bunch of young men, a bunch of coaches, a bunch of cheerleaders, a bunch of fans that all want to participate and have a season this year. Right. That's a lot. That's a lot of people.
That's a whole lot of people
that wanted to be involved. So they wanted to be involved and have this experience. And guess what? You just cut it off because you said there might be a possible problem. I don't know. I don't buy that. I think you should be able to find a resolution or a common ground to be able to make things work.
Yeah, listen, what like Marvin says, slippery slope. That's why I kind of pull back on it. But again, this is maybe next we'll get someone in administration. We'll see if we can get an AD on to talk about their district and about their aspect, their view on this.
Nah, we'll have a hard time with that one. I don't think they're going to come because there's just so many questions and so many things. And I think I take that back. We could probably get an AD that's a good AD, right? An AD that really on top of it. I think we wouldn't have no problem on it. I think the ones that are cutting programs and doing these things, I think those are the ones we'll have problems with. And like we said, if it was a budget issue, that's completely different. That's a different conversation. If it, like you said, a non-participation issue, that's a different conversation. You don't get 12 kids coming out, that's something different. But if you got 20, 25 kids coming out, that's not no participation. That's a good team. Now, what I would say, if we're not as competitive, can we petition to the conference and say, can we drop down a lower level so we can compete, be competitive? Not say we're going to get rid of the program.
That's interesting. That's an interesting point, and I'm gonna bring this up here because this is right in line with what we've been talking about, especially what you've been talking about. Maybe is the AD lazy? Give some flowers here. Shouts out to you, Mr. Roth, Dan Roth, for sending me this just now, literally. So, Poway Unified fires their superintendent following an investigation into bullying claims. The bullying claims were from the superintendent. The story is an independent investigation into the bullying claim was launched last year after parents and students accused Phelps of harassing members of the softball team for not clapping loudly enough for her daughter during an award ceremony. So the softball team, the softball squad is in jeopardy because the superintendent is mad because y'all ain't clapping for her daughter. Has nothing to do with the team, has nothing to do with the coach, that has nothing to do with the distance between the bases. Y'all better recognize, y'all see my daughter up here winning. It's pretty much what she's saying. So no, you know what? We not having softball. I'm reading into that, but
so you're going to take away there's 23 players, I think, on the softball team, 23, 25 players. You're going to take 24 other dreams because they didn't clap loud enough for your daughter at an award ceremony.
man, can't make this stuff
That's an
up, brother.
individual. See,
Can't
that's
make
that's
this
that's
up.
an individual. Yeah, that's an individual, man. It just doesn't belong in that position. They don't belong in there, man. And there's a lot of them, I believe. That's a problem. But see, that's one not resolving the issue. That's one causing the issue, right? That's not what we were
Yeah.
talking about before. This is one causing an issue. They're causing the issue. But
And that's not even the AD. That's not even, I'm gonna say, just the AD, who is a high person in the organization. But this is the actual superintendent for the
yeah.
school district. My gosh.
So think about this though. So that person's causing this problem. Coaches, unfortunately, and ADs, whether we like them or not, they are human, and sometimes humans hold grudges, right? In every which way possible. They hold grudges. They get mad about certain things. They don't like certain things, so they take it out. They use their position of power to take it out, which is unfortunate, man. And that's sad. That's just sad. I'm glad they were able to fire that person. Hopefully, get somebody in new to make sure everything goes like it's supposed to go. Good story, Dan. Appreciate that. That's a good one.
Dan coming through. You know, he always contentious sometimes. But what's going on, man? Hey Marvin, I see your message that you have someone who we may want to have on the screen. I just texted you the link to send to Coach so he can get on the show. We can have a conversation with him. So we'll see how that works. If we can get subject matter expert in here to talk as well. But there's that, man. Yeah, that's a good story. Appreciate you, Dan, for bringing that one to us. Let's go into the next conversation that I wanted to have with you, brother, and WNBA. Listen, it's a good story, okay? Because I'm stuck on WNBA. When you logged into the studio before we started, you saw me yelling at the screen about the game, and I like what's happening specifically with this new league that's being put together by Brianna Stewart, and man, what's her name? What's her name? Nafisa Collier. Unrivaled.
Mm-hmm.
You know about this? This
No.
is being put together, started by those two. They've got a commissioner. They're building teams. It's 3-on-3 basketball. This is what's going to stop Brittany Griner from going to Russia or overseas to go get that money. Why? Because they're going to play right there in Miami, 3-on-3, and they're going to get paid probably more than they're even getting paid for the WNBA right now, because they're not only getting a salary, but they're also getting equity in the league.
So they're promoted. So
they're promoting it. They own it. They promote it. They're building it up. It's going to start in January. They've got 16 out of 30 players, and it's all current players. So again, it's Brianna Stewart, it's Nafisa Collier, Angel Reese just signed up. I guarantee you that this 30th spot right there, they're waiting for Caitlin to sign up.
Well, Caitlin signs up, it's going to blow up.
Boy, listen, but just imagine that though. So when their season is over, no one has to go overseas to get caught up in anything. Another Brittany Griner situation. They can play locally. They can play in Miami. They have ownership within the league. This is pretty hot, right? This is a really good thing.
I'm surprised there's not conflict of interest with the WNBA though, with their players present. And I'm pretty sure the next wave of contracts, you won't be able to play in that while you're playing in the WNBA.
Next time there's some negotiations, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, Unrivaled. Listen, y'all gonna have to choose one or the other. But
yeah, think
about my God, what's her name? Coming out of UConn, my favorite player. The one that's coming up.
I'm drawing a blank.
I'm blocking too. But she's playing professional, and she's going to be getting NIL money through UConn. So
yes.
Why can't they do both?
Because you're at college level and you're playing probably at a pro outside overseas or playing at the semi-pro level, getting paid.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's legal or not either, but I mean, if she's doing those things, great, more power to her. But I think if you're playing in two professional leagues, I think that might be conflict. That's like playing in the USFL. I'm playing in the UFL and playing in the NFL or Canadian at the same time. Probably conflict of interest of playing in both leagues at the same time. I don't know. It might, and it may not be. It might not be. I would assume if I'm the WNBA, especially if I'm the WNBA, some of these players, I'm like, there's no way I'm running the risk of you getting hurt, twisting the ankle, or anything in this league over our league, because our league right now is just blowing up quadruple in fans, fanfare, TV time, and everything. I'm not running the risk of you being able to hurt yourself at all. And maybe I need to pay you a little more to run that risk, but I'd rather pay them a little more to say, no, you can't play in that. You're not going to be able to play in that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Paige Beckers is her name from UConn. Is the one I'm talking. So again, thinking about this rookie class that came in, it's gotten the WNBA finally to have chartered flights, right? So they don't have to fly with us common folks on Southwest or United or whatever. So from a security perspective, that's come about this far, but it would be real interesting if, again, back to the collective bargaining, kind of like Dan was saying, after this season is over, we're going to raise these salaries, because I think someone like Breanna Stewart, is her and Tarazi and Sabrina, they're getting paid the highest, right? They're getting, and that high is about $250,000.
Yeah, $250,000.
That's the highest paid for professional athlete in the WNBA right now.
Yeah, and as now that their fanfare is going to go up, I think salaries are going to go up as well. Are they going to be in the millions like the men? It's going to take a while. That's going to take a while because, men sell more memorabilia and all that stuff. But they're getting there. They're catching up, and they're catching up fast. I just believe if I'm a WNBA opponent, if my star player wants to play in a 3-on-3, I think I'm gonna have some resistance to that. Even though I know that's the way you make extra cash, I need to figure out a means for you to be able to make extra money without participating in that, because I don't need you to hurt yourself. Like Reese, I'm surprised Reese is participating. She's a double king in WNBA right now. There's no way I'm risking my top player, one of the faces of the future faces, of not current faces of the whole entire WNBA, to go play in a 3-on-3. You can own it, but you can't play.
But you can't play.
You can't play. So like I said, I think the next wave of contracts, or even the next collective bargaining, they won't be allowed to participate in something like this, unfortunately. But it's also fortunate because that means they're getting more money. So it's kind of a win-win for them. I believe.
This is early on, and again, I'm not tapping us on the back. I'm not necessarily giving us kudos. I'm just saying no one's talking about this, but this is happening. This is happening behind the scenes, and big names are being.
But my question to you, if I was Caitlin Clark, why would I participate in this and not participate in Ice Cube's Big Three and go get $1 million like she was supposed to get, or a couple of million?
Now, because she's part of the sorority of WNBA. Now,
so you would go somewhere where you don't make as much money, or you wouldn't go. So I'm asking you to play Caitlin Clark. I'm Ice Cube. Come to me instead of there. I'm gonna pay you a couple $1 million.
I don't know. Again, I don't know the lady. I just don't see her being pushed and driven by the cash as much. I mean, when she made the statement about not even wanting to go on to The View, they were going to pay her, and she says, "Listen, I'm not really down with The View. That's not something I watch." I just think, again, she's part of this sorority of WNBA players, and she's going to stick with her own. Stick with her squad and represent that. And she may not play, but she may support and fund. She got that Wilson money now. She got her face on the Wilson basketball. So
Caitlin Clark, as much as people want to hate her, she's the best thing for business for the WNBA right now.
Caitlin Clark is the Patrick Mahomes. I hate Patrick Mahomes because he's so good and he makes it look so easy. I will never get over Patrick Mahomes. Listen,
I don't know. I mean, she still got some work to do in her game. Her game is very, very good as a rookie, but I'm saying
she's not good at defense. She don't have a good defense yet.
Yeah. Everything she has the Midas touch when it comes to WNBA.
Yeah.
Right now, she has the Midas touch. Everybody, she's bringing in the fanfare. She's one of the most marketable people that's there. She's good. She's talented at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
So If I'm the WNBA, I put all my, I protect the bag. We always talk about it, protect the bag.
Got to.
Her and Angel Reese are the bags. If anybody wants, and Juju coming up will be the bag.
Yes.
So I'm protecting the bag. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, y'all, before y'all playing this, y'all going on a world tour to go and be ambassadors to promote the game, and we're gonna pay you a lot of money before you come into this.
And I would have said the exact same thing, and I feel exactly the same way that you do. Shouts out to what we see, Mr. Cox. Thank you for being here in the building, brother. But when I saw Kelsey Plum sign up, I was like, okay, now they talking. Now if Sabrina Ionescu comes in here too, if she's one of these last 17 out of 30 players, if Sabrina, if Brittany, and then if Caitlin fill out these last remaining spots here, WNBA got a problem.
They got exactly. That's what I don't want is a problem. I don't need the problem. I don't want that. We're just starting to get it going.
Don't let Asia Wilson say she.
Exactly. If she says
don't let Asia Wilson.
Yeah, man. So that's what I'm saying. I think there's gonna be something going on legally with the WNBA in doing this. I'm telling you, there's no way they can let that happen and let their players go over there. And if their players are even making more money or a little bit less, or the same amount of money playing 3-on-3 with less games and their own ownership, man, it's gonna be a problem. See, the difference between the big three with Ice Cube is he's playing retired players. They're no longer in the NBA, so there's no conflict of interest. You're already removed from the NBA. This league is bringing current top WNBA players to play in their league, which to me, like I said, it seems like a conflict of interest. Or somehow it's interfering with what I'm trying to build as our brand. So none of those players can play. If I was WNBA commissioner, none of y'all can play. That's the rule. You can't play. And I'm not saying you can't play because I don't want you to make extra money. Yeah, I just don't want you to. The brand that we're just building right now is just starting to grow, and for you to go endorse another brand, one is bad for business because now I have competition with the branding endorsement. And number two, we just got something going on that's good. I want to build it up. So this is what if I was WNBA smart, so they're going to have this league. Guess what? This league, you're going to tour the world and play friendly 3-on-3 games to promote the WNBA. That's what you're going to do, and make some extra money.
Yeah.
You're not going to go play for another league. You're going to go the WNBA 3-on-3 summer league. And y'all gonna go play all over the world and endorse the brand. Bring it to girls in China, girls in Brazil, girls in Spain, and we're gonna put a big budget behind it for you guys to do that. So now that we're starting to become a global game, and we're gonna go faster than the men's game. But I would not allow them to play, and I'm not knocking the league. I hope that league is successful. I'm just saying, from a business standpoint, it makes no sense for the WNBA to allow those players to play.
I think team owners are gonna. Again, when they meet after the season and in their meeting, wherever they go, wherever fancy people go and have their meetings, they're gonna be like, listen, we got Stewie, we got Reese, we got Plum, we got whomever and whatever, talking about doing this other thing. It was fine when they were going to Italy and France and Turkey.
You go overseas, you don't tarnish our brand. You kind of don't tarnish it a little bit. We're not competing in the brand. But now that it's grown big in the United States now, hey, I got to be the only man in the show. I can't have some competition. I can't do that. So you guys are not allowed to play, unfortunately, and we got to figure out something to maybe mimic that for you to tour the world and promote our brand. That's the way I would rock with it.
Answer this question right here from Dan, because again, I want to get it on tape again. He says, build a relationship with the WNBA teams, make jerseys where both teams for merch. And what I say is because you've already given the blueprint of what the men and the women should do.
Yeah, I think there's a different. The thing I think they should mimic, there should be a WNBA team in every city. There's an NBA team, and they should be the pre-game before the men's game. So it should be 2 games: WNBA, men's basketball. So now the consumer gets the best of both worlds. Gets to watch a WNBA game and watch a men's basketball game. It's a better sell. You sell your product a lot better. And now women get just as much exposure as the men, right? They get just as much to the fanfare as well as TV time because it all transcends into each other. Just like high school, JV basketball game goes before the men's basketball game. And even some schools, the girls' varsity basketball game plays before the boys' varsity basketball game. it should go transcend just like that in the WNBA. The problem would be is can the girls sustain the 82-game season in the playoffs? Me personally, I say yes, they can. Let's have it be exactly the same. The format should be exactly the same, and that's more money for WNBA, right? You get everything kind of just transcends the world. Memorabilia, everything just goes the same way. But I think at that point, once you get to that point now, ownership starts to get more and more controlling and more powerful. But on the flip side, the players get to make more money. So it's all good.
This man right here got the blueprint, y'all. I'm just back here pushing buttons and, turning lights on and off. My tail is bringing his heat. Y'all better. We need some more likes instead of these dislikes. I keep this down thumb is just glaring at me in the eye. We just for that statement right there. Come on, folks, give Montel Allen a like if you don't mind.
I mean, anybody they want to dislike because they just don't like what we're talking about. I guess they want to hear They want to hear scores, right? They want to hear scores.
Yeah. We were talking some serious subjects.
Mike Tomlin named Wilson the starting quarterback. Now what you want to talk about? Is that what they want to talk about? Because who's ever doing the thumbs up, thumb down? Once you comment and just say what you want to talk about, ask the question.
Amen.
Why are you scared about your comments behind a thumbs down? And not that I don't, negative publicity or negative comments is just as good as positive comments. But I'm saying, if you have something to say, then just say it. Say, hey, why don't you guys talk about this? Or, hey, why don't you guys bring this up? Or that's stupid because why aren't you thinking about this? Don't hide behind the thumbs down.
Yeah. Hopefully we've built, and I see some numbers going up as well on that side. Hopefully we've built an engaging and open community. As you can see, we got folks coming from the left, right, center, wherever, and we will talk about it. And when appropriate, if necessary, we'll bring folks on camera with us to talk about these contentious social impacting issues. But you didn't have to bring up my Steelers like that because listen, it's a rebuilding year again.
Nah, I think they're gonna make the playoffs, bro.
Tomlin's never had a non-winning season.
Yeah, so he'll figure
that
it out.
Like by dictionary. But when's the first game for them? Because real football starts Thursday. That's Baltimore.
You mean NFL football? Don't say real football. NFL football starts next Thursday. Yeah.
let me get some respect to the preseason. We played them Falcons. Okay, we played them Falcons on Sunday in the morning. We at Atlanta. Same area code. So everybody should be well rested. Come on, coach. Make sure that Russell ain't out there throwing ducks and I'm gonna be stressed.
We ain't taking his wife home to Atlanta, bro. It's all good.
There he go.
So he gonna be good.
She gonna be at the skating ring with Usher. Oh, okay.
Right.
I'm gonna leave that alone. We did what we had to do. We did what we had. Montel Allen, we back, brother.
Yep.
We back. Listen, folks. Again, Wednesday, same day. We doing 6 p.m. instead of 6:30. So 6 p.m. Set your clocks, alarms, turn on notifications. We live everywhere, so also on the Team No Sleep channel as well, but we also bring it over to the original channel as well, because y'all see, if you're on the original channel, you see some merch that's popping up right there. Listen, we got the pickleball paddle set. Bruh, I laughed at myself when I made that, but they came out real dope. I'm not into pickleball, but some folks are. So listen, we got Team No Sleep pickleball paddles. I'm gonna order you some pair. So when I come down next, we gonna play some pickleball. Montel, take us home, brother.
Absolutely. First of all, man, shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the colleges that are starting football coming this week. Actually, some starting tomorrow. Good luck to all those out there. Kids, like we talk about the common thing, please be safe. Safety first as you play and participate. If you're a person out there, man, go support your local high school football game. Just go watch and see if you have some fun. Go watch one. I think you'll be very highly entertained to see how good some of these young players are and these young talented people are and the cheerleaders and the whole surrounding and experience. I think it's a great experience. But most important, I think for us, everybody keep God first and say your prayers. And then also get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations because that's how we learn.
Bringing the heat, Team No Sleep with champions meet. We're on the mic, taking over the game. No time for rest, no screaming for fame. Talking sports, breaking it down from the court to the field. All around town, got the flow. Together we're two and ready to blow. From NBA to NFL and the MLB, we got all the updates. Yeah,